All right, so get this. We're diving into Alan Ritchson's fitness journey today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you know him as Jack Reacher, this imposing figure.
Right.
But believe it or not, the guy used to eat like 12 cookies a day.
No way.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I'm totally serious. It's crazy, right?
That's wild.
And with Reacher Season 3 coming out February 20th, 2025, and his role in Netflix's War Machine, we thought it'd be awesome to see how he went from Cookie Monster to like a fitness icon.
Yeah. I'm in for this one.
So we've got a recent podcast interview with him and some pretty detailed analysis notes to help us break down this whole transformation.
Awesome.
Ready to dig in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so what's really mind-blowing is how he got so ripped with a diet that sounds like, well, like my cheat day every day.
Right? Like, how is that even possible?
Exactly. It makes you wonder about genetics and metabolism, especially as we age.
You're telling me, I mean, it's fascinating how he got in such incredible shape. Eating like a teenager, basically.
I know he even talks about sweating while eating
Yeah.
and calls it his, like, mitochondrial superpower. What does that even, I mean, is he part furnace or something?
Well, okay, maybe not a superpower, but it does point to a crazy fast metabolism, especially when he was younger.
Okay, so break that down for me.
So mitochondria, they're like the powerhouses of our cells, turning food into energy.
I vaguely remember that from biology class.
Right, and a high metabolic rate can make you produce more heat, hence the sweating. But here's the thing. Our metabolism slows down as we get older, which makes Richson's transformation even more impressive.
That's a good point. And to be fair, he does say that his younger self's diet is not something he'd recommend. Like, not everyone wins the genetic lottery, right?
Absolutely. It's a good reminder that copying someone else's approach can backfire. What's interesting is how he changed his approach to nutrition over time, especially with the demands of those super physical roles.
Yeah, that's true. Now he's all about hitting 240 grams of protein every day. That's like a mountain of chicken breasts.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But, I mean, it kind of makes sense when you see the muscle mass he has to maintain for Reacher. But how does he even manage that on set? I mean, healthy food is like a myth in those places.
He actually talks about that, the struggle of finding healthy options on the go. He ends up relying on things like deli meat and protein shakes.
Not exactly gourmet, but I guess it's better than Doritos.
Right. It shows his whole perfection being the enemy of good philosophy.
I like that progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And that's a lesson we can all apply to so many things, not just food.
So true.
It's about finding that balance between wanting to improve and accepting that sometimes good enough is good enough. Instead of those restrictive cheat days, he's all about the 80-20 approach.
Oh, he got that from his wife's nutritionist, right?
Yeah, pretty cool how those healthy habits can spread.
Definitely. So for those of us who don't have a nutritionist on speed dial, what does 80-20 actually look like?
So basically, you make healthy choices about 80% of the time, and then you allow yourself some flexibility for those fun treats the other 20%. It's about a lifestyle, not a temporary diet, you know?
It takes the guilt out of it.
Exactly. No more feeling deprived.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
And this seems especially relevant with Ritchson going from bulked up Reacher to a leaner look for that 1970s film he's doing. He uses intermittent fasting for those transitions.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I have to admit, I don't really get how that works.
Yeah, intermittent fasting has a lot of misconceptions around it. It's not about starving yourself.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's more about strategically timing when you eat.
So it's more about when you eat, not what you eat.
Precisely. There are different methods, like the 168 method. You fast for 16 hours and then have an 8-hour eating window.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Some people find it helpful for weight management and their metabolism. It's about finding what works for you.
Makes sense. Now, we can't talk about Ritchson without mentioning his legendary sweet tooth. Apparently, it's connected to his ADHD.
Really?
Yeah, and instead of quitting sugar completely, he's found a way to manage it.
That's where personalization is key, right? Instead of banning entire food groups, he focuses on healthier swaps.
Like trading those 12 cookies for fruit.
Exactly. It might seem small.
But those little changes add up over time.
Absolutely. They can make a huge difference.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of how small changes done consistently can make a big difference for a healthier lifestyle.
For sure. And this adaptability thing, it pops up again when you look at his decision to go alcohol-free 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a big commitment to cut out alcohol completely, especially in an industry known for its parties. What made you do that?
Well, he wasn't so sure about it at first, but his wife convinced him to give it a shot. Now he says it helped with bloating and his vascularity, which sounds kind of vain, but it's actually pretty important.
I'm not really sure what vascularity means in fitness terms.
Oh, yeah. So vascularity is how visible your veins are under your skin.
Okay,
It usually means you have low body fat and defined muscles.
gotcha.
Genetics plays a role, but things like less water retention and better blood flow can make your veins pop more. And that's where cutting out alcohol can help.
So it's not just about looks, it's about overall health.
Exactly. And there's science behind it. Even a little bit of alcohol can mess with your health, your sleep, your liver function, all sorts of stuff.
Wow, that makes his decision even more impressive. Like, he's really dedicated to his performance and his health in the long run.
Definitely. And this whole holistic approach applies to his training too. Over time, he switched from a ton of body weight exercises to using more weights. But there's a twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So instead of lifting super heavy weights for a few reps, he does full body workouts with a lot of reps, like 15 to 25 reps per set.
Interesting. Why does he do that? It seems kind of backwards for someone trying to build a physique like his.
It's actually very smart. Higher reps work on your muscular endurance and hypertrophy. That's the process of muscle growth.
Ah, okay.
And it's easier on your joints, which is important for someone like Ritchson who's had injuries.
Right, he mentioned a broken rib and tendonitis.
Yeah, it shows that even the toughest guys can get hurt, especially in a demanding career.
So important to think about the long game.
That's a key part of Richardson's philosophy, longevity, and training. It's not about pushing yourself to the max every time. It's about training in a way that minimizes injury and keeps you healthy for years.
And that's good advice for everyone, not just action stars.
Totally. Whether you're a casual gym goer or a hardcore athlete, preventing injuries is crucial.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, speaking of sustainable routines, let's talk about Richardson's morning routine. This one's not for everyone.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. fasted workouts, that's intense.
Right. So why does he push himself so hard so early in the day?
That's a good question.
He says it frees up his time later when he's on set and doesn't have much control over his schedule or food.
Smart. He's making his fitness a priority, even with a crazy schedule. But what does he eat after those workouts on an empty stomach?
He has a protein-rich breakfast, usually yogurt or a smoothie. To kickstart his metabolism and refuel after that intense session.
It's amazing how he's adapted his fitness and nutrition to fit his life and his job. It's not about following some rigid plan. It's about making adjustments along the way.
Yeah, it's a real journey of self-discovery. And it shows that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to getting in top shape. It's about what works for you, your body, and your lifestyle.
So what can our listeners learn from all of this? What are the key takeaways?
What stands out to me is how his transformation wasn't some drastic makeover. It was about making conscious choices, building consistent habits, and adapting as his needs and goals change.
That's really encouraging.
He's living proof that perfection is the enemy of good, showing us that progress, not perfection, is what matters for long-term success.
Yeah, it really makes you think, right? It takes the pressure off of trying to be perfect.
Totally. And that's what makes his story so inspiring. It proves that getting and staying in shape isn't about following some strict plan. It's about finding what works for you, adapting, and putting both performance and long-term health first.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Alan Ritchson's amazing transformation, I'm curious, what were your biggest takeaways? What surprised you the most? And what's one small change you might make based on what we've learned?
I think what really hit me was his focus on balance and being able to adapt. It's easy to get stuck in that all-or-nothing mindset, you know? But Richson's approach is a good reminder that we can enjoy life and still reach our health and fitness goals. I'm personally thinking about cutting back on alcohol a bit, especially after hearing about the benefits he's seen.
That's a great point. And for me, I think I'm going to try to make those early morning workouts happen. If Ritchson can dominate his day starting with a 5 a.m. fasted workout, I can definitely squeeze in a quick session before things get crazy.
Yeah, it's all about finding those small wins that add up over time. Remember, it's the little things we do every day that make a difference. Embrace the journey. Don't just chase the end result.
Exactly. So whether you're inspired to swap that afternoon cookie for some fruit, try out intermittent fasting, or just prioritize a morning workout, remember, every little step counts.
You never know. You might even find your own mitochondrial superpower along the way.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Alan Ritchson's fitness journey. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to be your best self.